Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
Max, the one to watch for the best in entertainment, now has live sports with the Bleacher Report sports add-on.
5, 4, 3, 2, I let one go.
Stream hundreds of select live games from MLB.
That's gonna go!
NBA, NHL, U.S. Soccer, and NCAA Men's March Madness.
We just see what we think we just saw!
And it's all included for a limited time with any Max subscription.
He got him!
After the promo period, add it for $9.99 a month. Base subscription required.
Palla verso Dzeko! Edi! Dzeko! 8 minuti e già in vantaggio l'Inter. Edin Dzeko, l'uomo con più esperienza a questo livello europeo, realizza il gol dell'1-0, l'8º gol in carriera con il Milan.
It just felt so abrupt because the Dzeko goal was from a corner, brilliantly taken again, but there's no build up to it. It's just a nice corner and a really well taken finish. And then suddenly 3 minutes later, Inter just carves straight through the middle of Milan. And having been so loud, you almost could have heard a pin drop. It was just like all of the air came out of the stadium because this was Milan's home game. Of course, it's a shared stadium, but this was their home game. So the crowd was overwhelmingly for Milan. And they just were stunned to silence. And it feels like that was almost, I mean, that wasn't the whole game right there, but that was so defining for the game that the game and Milan never recovered. They certainly didn't recover in the first half. In fact, in the first half, I think it's no sort of stretch to say Inter probably should have scored more, certainly had their chances. Of course, there was the penalty incident. And while I've probably seen it less than you guys have, frankly, actually, when you're listening to this, because I've did catch a couple of replays at the stadium, but if you were watching on TV, you probably saw a lot more replays than I did. While it didn't look like a penalty to me, I was slightly surprised it was overturned because it was one of those where it didn't look like a penalty to me, but there is some contact on Martinez. He is pulled back at least a tiny bit. Yeah, there's that sort of area of subjectivity. We can agree or disagree whether it should have been a penalty to begin with, because I think it probably shouldn't have been. But once it's given, is VAR right to intervene in that situation where it's more ambiguous than perhaps clear and obvious? But again, maybe I'll feel differently about that after watching the replays more, and perhaps you're all listening to me thinking that's crazy. Anyway, that was my impression from the stands. In any case, there was a moment where it felt like, especially because Çalhanoğlu hit the woodwork as well, right after second goal, and then that penalty moment happens, but then it's taken away, and for the first time you felt like there was some life potential in the game, and Milan's fans sort of jumped onto it, but the team didn't really respond. And then into the second half, which did start better for Milan, and Macias has that chance, which he really should do better with, and then Origi comes in and sets up Sandro Tonali to hit the woodwork, and in front of their own fans, because of course it will be an Inter stadium for the second leg. Perhaps that will flip things on its head again, or perhaps it's less poetic than that. It's just simply that Milan need to score a scrappy goal from a corner at the start of the next leg, and suddenly that would change the narrative and make Inter feel nervous. There are lots of ways that this can still change. It doesn't feel like it will right now, and I'm sorry for, like I said, perhaps coming in with that anticlimactic mindset. It doesn't mean this wasn't a really entertaining occasion and game of football at San Siro. I'm still incredibly privileged to have got to cover it, and honestly a joy working with Adriano, who you guys know from the podcast, and the rest of the San Sport crew tonight. I've had an amazing time. It's been a wonderful experience. And I hope, let's just leave it there. Instead of focusing on what I think might happen, let's just say we hope that there will be some more drama to come in the second leg, because for how great the derby is, for how thrilling it is to see two Italian teams and two Milanese clubs, just to remind everyone, because we have to remind ourselves a few more times before the tie is over. The only city in Europe, for now at least, that has got two teams that have won the Champions League. perhaps that'll change. Perhaps Manchester City will do it this year and then Manchester will have 2. But for now, it's only Milan. And even if Manchester City do it, that'll still be their first. Whereas Inter, the junior partners here, and they've got 3, and one of those was a treble. So this is European football royalty. I was saying before kickoff on Stan Sports, there was a conversation about different derbies and what they mean. And, you could talk about the derby in Glasgow, where it's all got these sort of clear religious demarcations between Protestant and Catholic. You could talk about River Plate and Boca Juniors, where River Plate are the wealthy upper class team in theory, and Boca Juniors the working class poorer team, and how that rivalry is shaped. You can talk about the Rome derby, where it's very much based on neighborhoods and areas of the city that belong to each club. Milan derby's not like that. The Milan derby is 2 teams, one that was literally born from the other, Inter, that were born from Milan. And compared to some of the rivalries in terms of the heatiness of other places, you might even say it's not as sort of sharp and as nasty sometimes as some other derbies, because you do see players swapping between the two. You can make such an incredible list of players who've played for both these 2 teams. Ronaldo, who played for both teams, Ibrahimovic, who played for both teams, Andrea Pirlo, Clarence Seedorf, Roberto Baggio, all these players played for both these teams. And that's, who these teams are. They're the cugini, they're the cousins. The rivalry isn't necessarily nasty. Of course, there's always elements, but nasty in the way that some derbies are. But what it is, as I was saying on Stan, like, this is the derby of prestige, of history, of 10 European Cups between them. And of all those players I just mentioned, and plenty more besides, ones who didn't play for both clubs, but who are absolute icons in world football forever, like Paolo Maldini or Javier Zanetti. It's just a derby with so much history and meaning to it. And they're so, frankly, well balanced in this derby, in this rivalry as well, when you think about the fact they won exactly the same number of league titles. Yes, Milan have won more Champions Leagues, but Inter won the treble. Milan haven't done that. It's got such a beautiful story to it. Hey gang, just wanted to let you know that you can now get a free 14-day trial of our Chronicles Tifosi Patreon membership.
Subscribe now for free for 14 days to get access to all of our full episodes, solo minisodes, bonus content, even behind the scene bonuses like our chats about football, and of course our chats about life in general. You can also get the entire back catalogue of Serie A Chronicles content.
So head over to serieachronicles.com/Patreon and subscribe to the Chronicles Tifosi membership for free.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.